Speaking of getting worse, before we do comments and questions, I do feel like we should probably just do a brief talk about the Mel updates from yesterday. Some big swings in that whole saga. If you want to hear our full Mel Tucker situation discussion, we did over an hour of yesterday's episode on it, and I honestly went back and listened to it. I think we did a decent job talking about every element of that. So go back to that. That's on the channel if you want to watch it. But since we had that discussion, Mel has released a statement through his lawyers that is a little crazy to me. I mean, he's flat out denying this. This is going to get messy. He is saying that she has basically personally picked him out. It was a consensual relationship, and she's trying to ruin his life and succeeding in doing so. There was one line in the statement that basically said, I can only believe that Michigan State wants me gone due to my race or my gender or some Nassar taint. Again, audacity, in my opinion, to imply that Michigan State University may be firing him because of Larry Nassar or because of his gender and not his own actions here. What did you make of that statement? And then Brenda came out quickly and immediately shut it down and said this is just more of the victim blaming. So where do you stand? Did anything swing for you yesterday?
Nothing really swang for me yesterday, to be honest. The only thing I'll say is that I don't know. I just came away with this. It's going to get super messy. This is going to get really, really messy, and this is only the beginning. The events that are going to unfold after this, everything is going to be messy along the way, going from hearing to what happens after. What I assume that Mel is going to be fired. What happens after that? This also seems like the first step Mel's taking to making sure that he's covering his bases as far as he's going to want the rest of the money on his contract. And this statement is directly correlated to that, because the whole firing with cause thing, he's not going for that. He thinks this is a consensual relationship, that he didn't do anything wrong. The trial's coming October 5th or 6th, I believe it is, the hearings that are going to take place. It's going to be super messy. And also, just like I feel like we haven't talked about this from a football standpoint at all. This is now going to be hanging over the whole football season, which was already a football season that a lot of Michigan State football fans were on edge. I feel like, just because coming out the 5-7 season, schedule is a little bit tougher. Not making a bowl game was pretty embarrassing last year. So there was a lot. I mean, not a lot of expectations, but Michigan State football fans wanted to see something as far as improvement. Like if the team went 7-5 this year, I truly believe that most Michigan State football fans would be content and okay with that and see the improvement in the team and the guys that we have. But now this is going to be hanging over the football team for the rest of the season. And shit, who knows how long it's going to be hanging over, depending on how messy it gets. This could go on forever and ever. So I'm a firm believer that I kind of want Michigan State to do the due process, make sure you cover all your bases, and do the right thing. But at the same time, you got to be very, I just did the keep chopping.
I thought that was a bit. That wasn't a bit. That was an unintentional. Oh my God, you have been blinded by this man. You're a victim here.
No, I was trying to say.
No. You are a victim here. You and many others really, really have been duped by this man.
What I say is you got to be on it. Like
you got to keep chopping.
You got to be proactive.
Oh my God, Carter. I didn't know it was this bad. For those that didn't watch this and are just listening, Carter just literally with his whole heart meant to do the keep chopping motion. Like, you got to keep chopping.
That ruined everything. That ruined everything I said before.
I am shook right now. Yeah, it's going to hang over more than just the football team, though. Like, you're right. It's hanging over the football season. It's also hanging over the university. It's hanging over the fan base. It's hanging over anybody who wants to go to Meyer today in a Michigan State shirt. Like, this is not a good look. And it's, like I said, it's going to get messier, because here's the truth. And I don't think we spoke to this much yesterday. This is a messy situation. I'm not saying that Mel is in any way in his right, he should be fired alone for thinking it's okay to enter a consensual relationship with this woman, given the school's history and the context there. That's insane. This is messy, though. This is very much a he said, she said. And I don't know that anyone will ever know what the true truth is between the he said, she said. But when you are Mel Tucker, you can't put your team's fan base in a position where you're asking them to not believe a survivor. And that's where we are now. That is, again, the most insane thing ever. Like, even if Mel's honest here and he's being right, we can't not believe the survivor after all we've done and been through. Like, we have to believe survivors. That is a true fact at this point. So for Mel to now take the position that he's getting fired because of some Nasser taint and none of this, like, dude, this is no longer a good fit. Even if you're being honest, this is no longer a good fit. And the more Michigan State lets this hang, because I don't want to say let, I know they're doing the due process, but this is why I would advocate for just, you got to fire him as soon as you can. If this is still I'm suspended, I think there's a chance he goes to this hearing and he's not found guilty. I really do.
Even if you fire him right now, the messiness is still going to ensue.
But at least there's a clear line of separation, because if this is, we're waiting until October, why? I get why, it's money, but okay, then this guy's going to do this dance.
It's also not money. It's also there's a process with these things. Like, you gotta go through trials. You gotta go through hearings. Obviously, in situations like this, sometimes it's hard to understand that, but those things are put in place to go through those things. So, technically, you have to go through them.
But if you agreed yesterday, though, we're not, I don't want to do the whole Sean Mel. We're already doing 15 minutes more than I want to. You agreed yesterday, though, this is just a formality. So why do we need the due process? If the due process happens and he's found innocent and he's still going to get fired, why do we need the due process?
Because it comes back to what's going to happen afterwards. Because there's going to be lawsuits to follow this. There's going to be Mel trying to recoup his money. Let's say we did fire him right now. Mel's lawyer team is going to be like, they fired me without even letting me get to my trial. They fired me without even letting me get to this point. That's literally, even when you say that on your head, it sounds like firing without causation. So they're literally going to have to go through this trial. I think it's literally just to cover their bases.
There's a morality clause in the contract.
But there's a morality clause, but that's like we said on yesterday's episode, that's such a gray area.
I say this as an alum, I would hope Michigan State University chooses to be the determining factor in the gray area and not. I get it. I praised them yesterday. I said, I don't think they're doing anything wrong. Now that Mel Tucker is releasing statements saying that the university's firing him because of his gender, I do think they're doing something wrong. You got to cut this man immediately. We're not going to let this man dance around. He's on some bullshit. He's delusional. Even if he's honest here, which he might be, I'm not even saying it's 100% fact. Even if he's being honest, he's delusional. And he has now drawn a line between him and the university. And he's accusing the university of some bullshit, which is crazy to me. So I don't know. It's obviously a mess. You got to create separation sooner rather than later. And there isn't going to be. They're going to wait till the hearing. So you better pray that hearing goes the way you want it to, which, given how messy this is, I don't know that it will. We'll see what happens. Okay.